uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out that more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, A-Side official. No negotiations needed, period. Yeah, we back with another one, man. News is broke. I don't know if you all was out there scrambling around, getting those parlays ready, or just straight betting it up. But David Morrell, we was looking forward to seeing him get back in the square against Imam Khataev. Khataev had other plans, though. We're going to get to that. Francisco Rodriguez defeated England's Galal Yafai. And Yafai, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, I apologize. Yafai, if you remember, he's the guy who went in there and put the brakes on Sonny Edwards for the interim WBC title. Of course, that was after Just Ban Rodriguez. But we're going to get to that. But I just want to put a encapsulation out there to say salute to those who support the channel. Shout out to Carlos Rosado, first in the building. You already know. I was looking for Morrell, Khataev, shaking my head. These fighters can't still be this dumb. Yeah, it depends. It depends on what's going on. It really do. It depends on what's going on with their training. But let's get down to an article that was put out and reported, right? This is boxing scene. Okay. This is Rodriguez versus England's Yafai on June 21st. It says the Mexican performance caught the eye for its astonishing tirelessness. Now, understand how many S's that word has in it. Tirelessness, okay? The Mexican performance caught the eye for its astonishing tirelessness today, July 9th. It has been confirmed by Matchroom Boxing, who staged the bout, that Rodriguez failed his post-fight anti-doping test, which was conducted by VADA. It goes on to say, Yafai, 9-1-7 knockouts, was defending the WBC interim flyweight strap in Birmingham, England, and was widely expected to follow his impressive beatdown of Sonny Edwards last November with victory over the experienced Rodriguez. The challenger was a revelation. You know what they mean by revelation now. We didn't see this coming. We did not see this coming. It says, however, employing astonishing output from the first bell until the last, Yafai, who endured a beating, was dropped in the 12th round before lopsided scores of 119-108 twice and 118-109 went against him. According to Copybox, the 40-6-1, 27 knockouts, Rodriguez landed 575 punches, a record for the flyweight division from 1,089 thrown. Now you have to ask yourself, it's, you know, when you see things playing out with someone that many fights, yeah, the question marks are going to start to sprout up like weeds on the goddamn cement. You know, it's going to start to sprout up. People going to say, huh? Am I missing something? So you have to go take a gander at BoxRec, right? You have to go take a gander at BoxRec. And when you look up Francisco Rodriguez Jr., right? This guy's only 32 years old. A Mexican fighter. Have a total of 48 fights. KO percent is 67.5%. His last loss was against the star himself, Junto Nakatani. Okay. Then he would go on to beat Joel Cordova, Jose Javier Torres, Jorge Villalobos, Josue Jesus Morales, which was a no contest, no decision. And then, of course, Yafai. And he was able to win that via unanimous decision. So now I'm pretty sure if his B sample come back dirty, they're going to change it to a no contest, and Yafai is going to get his title back. This fighter is only 32 years of age. For me, I would want to give him some type of excuse, but I can't. I mean, he's 32 years of age. I don't know if he's trying to nurse an injury, but it seems like he was taking something that was considered on the high side of performance-enhancing drugs. It says today, Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, VADA, informed Matchroom, the World Boxing Council, and British Boxing Board of Control, BBBOC, that Francisco Rodriguez has returned an adverse analytical finding as part of a post-fight night anti-doping test following his bout with Yafai, reads Matchroom statement on the matter. Rodriguez positive tests would now be investigated by BBBOC, British Boxing Board of Control, and the WBC. So those of you that was tuned into that fight, there was a high punch output that the commentators was praising, but sometimes everything is not what it seems. And for this guy, he ended up testing positive, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he ended up testing positive. So if there's any updates, I would definitely let you know. Check it out right here. This guy was supposed to step in there, Khataev, and fight the rising star David Morrell. Light heavyweight contender Khataev has reportedly been banned for 2 years after testing positive for Clomifene. Now, if you ask yourself, and something just bing, and the light bulb went off, yes, this was largely a conversation when Conor Benn, who was actually gaining weight to fight at a higher division, right, a more heavier division, he tested positive for Clomifene. Now, Khataev is the one that tested positive for Clomifene. Okay, he's been banned for 2 years after testing positive. It says the International Testing Agency, ITA, reported the news yesterday, July 8th, which comes as a major blow to Khataev, who was scheduled to compete this Saturday night. Ooh, I know that check was going to look good. In their statement, the Swiss-based organization said the ITA, the International Testing Agency, reports that athlete Khataev was sanctioned with 2-year period of ineligibility after testing positive for Clomifene and its metabolites, falling and out of competition doping control on 9th April 2024. So this was out of competition, random drug test. It gives you a little bit of summary of Clomifene. It says it's prohibited under the WADA prohibited list as an S4 hormone and metabolic modulator. It is prohibited at all times in and out of competition and is classified as a specific substance. Clomifene can be used by athletes to increase testosterone levels. Ooh, that's some education. You know, is based on enhancing hormones, right? You know, the metabolic modulator. I'm not sure how deep it goes into that with clomiphene. Usually, fighters test for testosterone or the EPO, but clearly, if this was hormonal, enhancer, that would explain why he popped dirty. Maybe he was trying to get through a workout. Sometimes fight camps are tough on fighters' body. They break them down, and they can't build them up the same, especially if you nurse an injury. I don't know. Maybe he felt that he needed 2.5 freaking 2 or 3 of days for fight camp to step in there with Dave Morrell. I mean, this was going to be his big opportunity, to go in there and fight a guy like Morrell, who has a lot of momentum going right now. I mean, there was a huge opportunity squandered. It goes on to say the sanction was issued by ITA on behalf of the IBA in accordance with Article 8.3.3 of the IBA anti-doping rules and the equivalent provision in the World Anti-Doping Code. The period of ineligibility is effective from 26 June 2025 until 25 June 2027, and the athlete's results have been disqualified from 9 April 2024 onwards. So this is a test that has been out there for a minute earlier this year, and he tested positive. Unfortunately for him, he almost slid in there to get a check. Now he almost slid in there to get a check. The good thing about him not facing David Morrell, because what if he would have went in there dirty? What if he would have applied unexpected damage to Morrell? What if this would have been Antonio Margarita, Miguel Cotto all over again? I mean, we've had several fighters go in there, as in Ryan Garcia, and really damage their opposition in Devin Haney. What if that would have been the case? People would have took to social media and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe Khataev did that to Morrell. We thought Morrell was the goods." And then he comes back dirty from a test a while ago. And then also this fight right here. I try to tell people so many times, this guy had this result pending out there. Okay. He was still able to have his name put on a list, on a fight card to fight. He knowing very well that he is dirty. He's been ingesting clomiphene. He's been cutting corners, not with a pair of shears, okay, but by the tip of the needle or oral ingestion or whatever, how you take that supplement. He knew he was cutting corners, man. He knew he was stepping. He knew he was going in there with the toughest opponent of his career. And he didn't think probably that his innate ability would be enough. You know what I'm saying? He didn't think the supplements from GNC would be enough. So he had to say, hey, in order for me to keep up this pace, doing these 2 or 3 a days for David Morrell, I need something extra. So that fight has been canceled. Okay? That fight has been canceled. David Morrell and Imam Khataev, it's been canceled. It's done. It's over. Okay. I know a lot of people was talking about it. They want to see Morrell get back in the ring. I feel you. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. A lot of these fighters have been testing dirty lately. And I want to ask myself, like, why all of a sudden we have a more higher frequency of fighters popping dirty? What could it be? What could it be? You know what I'm saying? Why? What could be pushing these fighters to say, well, I need to cut corners rather than just going off strict supplements? Is it the current in place restrictions? What could be influencing these fighters to say they need more and more to get through training camp? Is the training regimen a bit more harsh, a bit more tougher now? You know what I'm saying? The rigors of fight camp, has it changed to the point where fighters feel like their bodies are breaking down and not really fully recovered next to the fight? I don't know these. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like a lot of fighters more frequently are choosing to cut corners and get caught. Let's talk about Serrano versus Taylor 3 main event. I know there's other fights on the card. Okay, no disrespect to anyone of any, other fighter that's on the card. Okay, we do have a heavy women's card. Shout out to women's boxing. Shout out to MVP Promotions. The fight's going to be at Madison Square Garden. Okay, Taylor versus Serrano 3 is going to be at Madison Square Garden. You have the names of Savannah Marshall, who's been out the ring for 2 years, coming back to fight Shadeja Green. You have Alicia Baumgartner, who's always, putting on explosive performance, man, just like her name. She's facing Jennifer Miranda. You have Chantel Cameroon. She's facing Jessica Kamara. You have Ellie Scotney against Mikado. So, I think it's a great card. Plus, it's like probably 4 or 5. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 6 championship fights. I would say 5. And then one is for the WBC Interim World Super Light. So I would say 5 championship fights under New York State Athletic Commission. Friday. Remember, this fight is Friday, y'all, not Saturday. This fight is Friday at Madison Square Garden. It would be on Netflix. Netflix is on deck, y'all. Netflix is absolutely on deck with the boxing. Now, this is my take on the boxing FICO of Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. And I'm going to be very, very honest as I possibly can without being circuitous and beating around the bush. In my opinion, if I was watching 2 males fight, and I have, like Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua, if I have visually seen them compete twice, and though the fight was competitive, Alexander Usyk, in my opinion, he's up 2-0. There's no doubt about it. He's up 2-0. 2 victories to none. That means Usyk was 2, Anthony Joshua was 0. Katie Taylor has successfully won twice over Amanda Serrano. Okay? The question was presented. If you all have already fought twice already, why would the boxing fans want to see you all for a third time? Because it's entertaining. And I thought about that and I said, is it entertaining? Is it entertaining? I just kept asking myself, is the fight entertaining the third time around? Because we pretty much go off the adrenaline, anxiety, suspense, intrigue. We go off all those right there the first 1 or 2 times because we haven't seen it happen before. So we up here like, I haven't seen this before. I'm just going to enjoy this fight. But now we've seen it twice. And look, it's okay. I have nothing against, these 2 women. They always go in there and let their hands do the talking. You know what I'm saying? But Katie has won twice. I just don't give it a high FICO for this third time around. I don't. I think it takes a hit. It reduces the FICO score of these 2 competing in a trilogy, just like Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. I don't see the relevance in this fight happening. I don't see it. I know it's for a championship. It's going to be 10 rounds, 2 minutes apiece. I get it. But Katie Taylor has freaking won twice. So it's one or two things, of course. That's always when you roll the dice. Katie can win again. And that's 3 times that we can look on Amanda Serrano's record and say Katie Taylor beat you 3 times. 3 times. It's not going to stop her from getting in the Hall of Fame at all. It's just going to have a little sidebar conversations with people saying, John, you see this? What do you think? Matt, come here. Man, Katie beat her 3 times. I wonder why. I mean, she couldn't make any changes in fight camp. They're going to have conversations. And then on the other side, Amanda Serrano can finally win. Okay. If Amanda Serrano, who's already a 7-weight world champion, if she does beat Katie Taylor, are they going to try their best to drain the turnip, just wrench it and drain it all the way out for a 4th fight? Because this is going to get unbelievable. Like with the women, they're different in life, period. But if you try to say Amanda Serrano won once and then, I'm pretty sure y'all want to see it again, right? Ladies, please don't force feed this on us no more. This is no different than Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin 3. People knew and was aware that the fight was going to happen, but they didn't want anything to do with it, man. Nobody wasn't talking about how electric. They wasn't talking about you had to be there in person. Were you captivated? Nobody was talking about that when Canelo and Triple G fought. But with this fight right here, I commend the ladies for selling it. As much as they're doing to promote it, because women boxing does need that continued push and support, right? But I will say this: she defeated her twice already. It's time to move on. Where's Alicia Baumgartner? I would have liked to see Alicia Baumgartner face one of these women right here, man. I'm talking about if she was in the weight class. I would have liked to see someone move up, challenge, to fight one of these women, because I just don't want to see Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano 4. This is it for me. The boxing FICO went down to a cool 685. Still enough to get you a little small loan of respect from the crowd. Very high interest rate. Very high interest rate, because this fight right here, people have seen 20 freaking rounds. Okay, they've seen 20 rounds, and they're saying to themselves, it's not much I need to see now. It's not much, man. We seen the ring walks. We seen this. We know both fighters gonna bring it. We know Katie Taylor is part buffalo and bison or whatever you want to say. She like using her head. We do understand she has some DNA from Sean Porter, some chromosome that links up very good. Them strands are lethal. She's been known to headbutt a time or two. We understand that Amanda Serrano does have scar tissue from a very nasty cut. And this was one of my peeves for this fight. I said, God dang, man. Katie busted her open up twice already, bro. So what is Serrano going to change this time? We know she can fight. We know Taylor can fight. But what is Serrano going to do to stop a freaking headbutt, man? If you choose to fight in close quarters with Katie Taylor, knowing that she has that freaking helmet, that crash dummy helmet above her shoulders, that Irish gladiator full titanium headbutt, a league of his own, guaranteed to open you up the first strike. I hope Amanda Serrano is very cautious. I hope she inserts her methodical measures and being very tactical when she chooses to close distance, not just let your arms go, your hands go, and just give the crowd what they want. For what? You keep getting cut up by this female. If you look on her box rec, you can clearly she looked like, look, her head looks like it's built. If she was in the mountains and she ran into a ram, the ram would lose. Katie Taylor, it looks like she can go head up with a ram. She's tough, man. And when she start to, dip that head down and get on the inside, and both fighters are not looking, the only person that has suffered any freaking impact damage is Amanda Serrano. And those cuts just don't go away. They get disinfected, stitched up. They go back to the doctor. Some of them get plastic surgery, not plastic surgery, but surgery to remove some of the scar tissue that's going to form, but they have to wait, during the healing process, right? So Katie Taylor fought Amanda Serrano November 2024, y'all. You see what I'm getting at? November 2024. And she's fighting her, what? 8 months later. Is that enough time for Serrano cut to heal? I don't know. I want to show you something. Let me show y'all something right quick, man, what I'm talking about. I just want y'all to just understand my frustration. My frustration has nothing to do with these two women, because to be honest with you, I really have no reason to dislike. They go in there and they bang out, period. They go in there and give us action. They give us, a lot of volume. They give us the activity that we're looking for. But check this out right here. This is Amanda Serrano, right? And the cut she received from the one and only Katie the Bison Taylor. She's been known to have that titanium cranium. That's what Katie Taylor has. She has the titanium cranium. Look at this cut from Amanda Serrano, and you tell me what you think. That is from Taylor, the titanium cranium, what she did to Amanda Serrano. I'm all about the fights, bro. I'm all about it. Shout out to Jake Paul doing his thing, MVP, doing his thing, putting these women on board to make more money. But that is a nasty, when I tell you, that cut is freaking nasty, yo. That's a nasty cut. Amanda's a warrior because she received the cut in the first fight, right? A cut was placed upon her the first fight, and she decided to come back again and fight the very same person who did it again. I mean, I guess the money is good, right? But that cut is super nasty. And they let that fight go on to the 10th round. They let that fight go on to the final tick. You can say what you want. That is damage, period. That's damage. So me, I'm looking at it. Is Katie doing this on purpose? This is all a part of my frustration with this fight. Is Katie doing this on purpose? Is that just her fighting style naturally? Has there been any other opponents that she opened up like this? Yeah, she's had opponents that she's cut, from my understanding. But I'm only talking about the one that's going to be the main event. You know why it concerns me about the main event? Because I don't want to see the fight stopped. If this is the trilogy when it shouldn't be a trilogy, goddamn it, I want to see the whole entire fight play out, and then a winner is determined. Who's going to be the straight winner? Is it going to be Katie Taylor for a third time? Or is it going to be Amanda Serrano? We've had trilogies in the past. Trilogies are back and forth, right? We had Deontay Wilder fight Fury in a draw. We had Canelo fight Triple G the first fight in a draw. Then came, okay, let's have the rematch. Then whoever won that, it basically sets up a very nice rubber match for a trilogy. That's really how the reservations should look if you're trying to go 3 times for the boxing fans. Those reservations when it comes to trilogies should look like that. It's good to have like a freaking somebody win the first fight, a draw, and then we go to the trilogy. Or a draw, go to the rematch, somebody one half win, and then go to the trilogy. That's what I like. We've seen also with Usyk and Fury. Just granted, a lot of fighters aren't willing, on the male side, is not willing to step back in there for a trilogy if there's already been a 2-0 stamp of approval. On the male side, they're not stepping back in there. People tell them, oh man, this is not something that's going to enhance your career. Why? It does nothing. But for the women said, hey, it's entertaining. The women say the people want to see it. And I can't blame them. There are boxing fans out there that want to see these two warriors go back in there and fight. But with all the headbutting, and the rematch could have been stopped, and her suffering the cut in the rematch and the first fight, and then her losing, her being Amanda Serrano 2 times. What could you change, man? If you're gonna go in there and do the same thing, you're gonna get cut again. What are you gonna change is my biggest question. That's all. What have you and your trainer came up with? What's the game plan for this time around with Katie for you to edge it out? Are you willing to box instead of just brawling? Because it seems to me that both fighters are willing to just brawl, more so Amanda Serrano. She's just more than willing just to get on the inside and throw everything caution to the wind and keep that engine going round for round because it's only 2 minutes per round. I get it. The women has a different sense of urgency. I get it. But if you're going to have that urgency, you definitely need some precautionary measures down there to prevent this from what we're looking at right now. You have to have it for the simple fact of your fans. If you feel you and your trainer has came up with a solid ironclad plan, then guess what? We want to see it play out. We want to see you go in there and defeat Katie Taylor with that plan without the doctor coming up to the ring apron and saying, excuse me, time out. And come over here, Amanda. How you doing? I need to take a look at that right eye again. It seems like it's looking the worse for wear. Again, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the doctor interfering. No, let's get this trilogy over with. If Amanda Serrano is going to be the winner and it's going to be 2-1, I want to see it. If she's able to gain her glory, I want to see it. If Katie Taylor walks up out of that 3-0, guess what? I mean, she's going to always go down in history. Yeah. Amanda, 7 divisions, but me, I beat her 3 times. Hey, she's going to be telling that to her grandkids, man. I mean, she's going to be telling that story forever. It don't matter how old she is. Yeah, she's in the Hall of Fame, but I beat her 3 times. Look it up. Don't believe your grandmother. Look it up. She's going to have the bragging rights, y'all. I'm serious. She's going to have the bragging rights all day, all night. And there's going to be nothing no one can tell her. Because you know what? I'll be doing the same thing. If I fought, and Katie Taylor's decorated in her own right. Let's get that straight. But if that was me, I will be bragging also. If someone was getting into the Hall of Fame and I wasn't in the same class as her, I wasn't in the same class, but yet I defeated him 3 times and he's getting in before me because I probably retired later than he did. I'm definitely going to let it be known. I know this is a cookout for a family reunion, but first of all, I don't know if you've seen this, but you know that fighter, he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's being inducted to the Hall of Fame. But I want to give you, I just want y'all to see something. This 26 by 26, yeah, it's pretty big, but it's the box rec. And if you see in the red, the reason why he has those colors in red, because that's I beat him 3 times. He may get into the Hall of Fame, but he's not going to go up there with a victory over me. Let's be honest. I think that's room for celebration. Please pour everybody a drink, please. And we're going to toast. Salud. I'm telling you, I'll be doing it. Every reunion, I will be bragging. I will be letting it be known I defeated him twice. Just like Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is going to be sipping on whatever she's sipping on. And she's going to let the people know, hey, I beat Amanda. And there's nothing no one can be mad about. When they have Katie Taylor come back after she's retired, she's much older. And they welcome her back and they say, hey, Katie, it's been a long time. How's it been now that you've knotted the gloves and you are, comfortably out there in retirement? What have you been doing lately? I've just been showing people the box rec, Amanda Serrano's box rec, every chance I get. I mean, every now and then I do some volunteer work and all that, but I always got that box rec in my back pocket because every time I pull it out, it seems like people will be shocked every time. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to stop, bro. It's never going to stop. AB on deck. What's good? Bug gonna stop. Canelo on deck. Salute. Don Vaughn on deck. OG Bruce Caz Boxing Jasmine. What's good? But for me, I'm gonna keep it positive. Serrano versus Taylor 3, the main event. It's happening in an all women's card, and it's not a light card either. It's heavy. And you boxing fans out there, I'm telling you, you might look at it like just 2 minutes around, but this is a heavy card, man. You got Alicia Baumgartner, she's a star too. You got Savannah Marshall returning, Shadeja Green trying to leave her mark and finally get, a good name on her resume that she can brag about. And Savannah Marshall is that fighter. She's been out the ring for 2 years, but Marshall, she's been in there with some tough competition to include the GWOAT. This is going to be a tough fight for Shadeja Green, to be honest. It's going to be a tough fight. I mean, she has a motor. Savannah Marshall has a motor. In order for Shadeja Green not to be ran over, she better make sure she has something other than a neon green, a neon yellow vest. She better make sure her defense is active and effective, and she can go in there and negate the constant pressure, the active pressure of Savannah Marshall. Who else is on this card? You got Scotney versus Mikado. That's gonna be a good fight, man. That's a championship fight. Super bantamweight division. That's a championship fight. You have a loaded fight card, man. Shout out to Sharetta Metcalf, man. Shout out to In the Ring with Christine. Shout out to Texas, man. Them Texas girls over there. Shout out to Metcalf. See, they had her on the B side. You know what I'm saying? My apologies there, Sharetta. But I was rooting. I definitely was rooting for you. Due to you getting a title shot, being who you connected with a very good group of people, especially In the Ring with Christine. You know what I'm saying? Very hard, one of the hardest working women in boxing. I'm not comparing her for competition to other women that train fighters, but she's doing her thing. And shout out to Metcalf, man, for having those people around her. She's going there with a tough fighter and Shanika Johnson. Okay. If I'm pronouncing that right, Shanika Johnson, 30, from Australia, right? 17-2, 7 knockouts. And Sharetta Metcalf is 14-4, one draw with 2 knockouts. And Metcalf, since that last loss, a majority decision loss to Daniela Bennett, okay, she's been on a 4-fight win streak. Okay, she fought Yoshida twice, both UD, and she fought Melissa Parker and Leanne Calderon. And then she had a no contest with Alicia Acero. So she's been on a 4-fight win streak right now. Okay. And she's out Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Them Texas fighters always come to fight. But one thing I would say about Metcalf is not the fact that she ain't tough. It's the fact that she's 40 years of age. So Chicken is definitely going to have to go in there. According to what fight camp she has, I don't know what fight camp she had, but she's going in there with a younger opposition who's 30 years old. 10 years. The elder is Metcalf to Johnson. So, many things are going to have to happen, man. We have to see how it plays out. Y'all feel me? I mean, shout out to her. And once again, shout out to In the Ring with Christine, man. Make sure y'all go sub to her channel and continue to support her. I'm trying to see if I missed anybody. But yeah, man, check that card out, man. I think some people devalue women's card because they're 2-minute rounds, right? But man, those women know they have to go in there and scrap. And some of these women scrap, and you would never see men pretty much go in there and scrap the same way because they don't want to get knocked out. But it's not like these women cards are banal. No, they have action. You know what I'm saying? Just like Houston, we have action. They have clear action. They go in there, and that 2 minutes goes by very quickly. Before you know it, you're close to championship rounds with, in my opinion, will be the 9th and the 10th round, and you got to make some things happen. Now, the one part about this fight, when it comes to the A and B side, the B side doesn't always come in second. Let's get that straight. The B side does not always come in second. Now, do I think Miranda is going to beat Baumgardner? It don't matter if she has an O on her record or not. I don't see her beating Alicia Baumgardner. I just don't see it. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't know who's going to win, man. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, when we get to Savannah Marshall and Shadeja Green, the only thing I can say, both of these fighters had one loss on their record. But if one has never been the most deceitful vertical entity in this equation, one, Shadeja Green lost to Franchon Cruz-Azarn. 2, Savannah Marshall, her only loss came from the lady, the fighter, the warrior, the GOAT, who beat Franchon Cruz-Azarn. You know what I'm saying? So you have to factor in all those triangular, rectangular theories, man. You do. Because Savannah Marshall, clearly her one loss is as high value when it comes to her losing to Carissa Shields, the same Carissa Shields who defeated Franchon Cruz-Azarn. And DAZN is a tough competitor in her own right. But Shadeja Green wasn't able to get it done. So if you wasn't able to get it done against Franchon Cruz-Azarn, then Savannah Marshall, even though she lost to Clarissa Shields, do you have enough? Is your boxing IQ, are you in shape? That is going to be a tough fight, yo. That's going to be a tough fight. And let's go up here and Shadeja Green has a 73.33% knockout percentage. Okay, she has 11 knockouts out of 16 bouts, yo. That's impressive. But we also know that fighters are built, and Shadeja has been on the march, man. Shadeja Green has been on the march to leave her footprint amongst the title contenders up here. She's been on the march. It's just she's in there with a tough one today. I mean, this week. Savannah Marshall's a tough out. She is, man. She may have been out the ring for 2 years, but her engine, the way she let her hands go, if she's in Shadeja's face like that, and Shadeja cannot repel the attack, it's gonna be a short night for Shadeja Green. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I feel that Shadeja, who last fought November 2024, she hasn't been out the ring that long. But if you look at Savannah Marshall, hold on for a second. Savannah Marshall, her last fight was July 2023, y'all. July 2023. So she's coming up on a cool just outside the front porch of 2 years. Will it be a problem with her stepping in there with Green, with her gas tank, or will, her experience kick in and everything else? Because her name is a silent assassin. Okay. Her name is a silent assassin. I think this is going to be a good fight. And Shadeja Green, her alias is the Sweet Terminator. I don't think anything's going to be sweet about this fight. Shadeja is also 35 years of age. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. She's 35 years of age. And let me grab the age of Savannah Marshall right quick. Savannah Marshall is 34 years of age at the current time. Savannah Marshall is 32 years of age. Okay? So we have two fighters that are in their 30s going in there to scrap it out. I like it. 35, 32. I think that's all on this particular card. Of course, we got another card coming up on Saturday. It's only Wednesday, but this card is first. You know what I'm saying? This card is on the 11th. This is an all women's card. Salute to the women warriors going in there and showing that spirit in the art of war and in full combat. And we all know what boxing is considered the hurt business. So there's going to be some pain delegated in this fight card. It's going to be definitely some pain. But if I have to give one part of advice to fight fans, y'all need to get out the funk of when you see a women's fight card, you just automatically don't want to talk about it. It's a name for that. You are considered to be a casual boxing fan, because if you're going to just put all your focus on the male side of the house, well, that's not being a total boxing fan. So you have to really look at it and say, okay, let me take this snapshot of the women's card and let me do my due diligence to comb through it and get familiar with these fighters. Because believe it or not, Friday night, you're going to be looking at this card. You're going to be looking at this card. You're going to be tuned in. If those of you that have Netflix, you're going to be tuned in on this card and you're going to pay attention. And it doesn't matter what I say when it comes down to what I think about the main event and their boxing FICO taking a hit. All I'm telling you is it's a heavy fight card for the women. You have some solid names on there, not just any names in women's boxing, but you have some solid freaking fighters on this card. So just do your due diligence and tune in. It's all good. Dodge J, what's good? Yeah, he said chicken. Yeah, man. Hopefully Metcalf can channel every bit of her experience at 40 years old. her attrition, her durability. Hopefully, don't play a role in it debilitating her in one way, or she having a problem. We'll see. We see. It's fight week. That's the only thing I want to let people know. It's fight week. And my last was what was it? What was it? We're still trying to wait with we're still trying to wait and see about the November fight card. I've been hearing that Virgil Ortiz's run Ennis will be on deck. Everybody's been getting the rounds in with Brian Norman Sr. speaking about their fight with Devin Haney. It's amazing that how boxing works, man. How the seasons change. At one point in time they was looking at the Boca Chica fight, and now everywhere you go, it's almost like the oasis of conversations are the sun is shining down. It's not too hot and humid. Nice subtle breeze. You know what I'm saying? A little wildlife out there, not too much. And that's how they look. Who would have thought in that short period of time that an undisputed champion like Devin Haney would be spoken on as the B-side, the clear B-side, and people believing that Norman is going to go in there and knock him out. I mean, just a short window of time. People saying, hey, Norman, he got a crazy check hook. Oh my God. Hey, he got power in there. And then they keep on talking about the Jin Sasaki fight. One thing I can say about Norman Jr. knocking out Sasaki, who's already been stopped, is that it seemed like he knocked them out too. Because I'm not hearing people talk about how Jin Sasaki was knocked out before. I hear them talking about how Norman knocked him out and laid him, and he wasn't even moving. He wasn't doing anything, man. They had to wheel that man out on a stretcher. That's how you get people's attention. Real talk, right? That's how you get people's attention. If you're doing something that's been done before, it's all about you doing it different. And that's pretty much what we seen when he knocked out Jin Sasaki. I don't know where he grabbed that hook. I don't know if it was out of Frozen Paradise, Golden Glide, Cascade Skating Ring. I don't know, it was East Point, East Lake, Decatur. I don't know where he grabbed that hook from. That left hook came out the pocket. I don't know if he went in the trunk, the attic. I don't know if he asked David Copperfield, hey, Dave, you got a minute? Hey, on 3, this fight's not going to be long. I need for you to make this hook appear at the right time. That's the only way the trick going to work. Once this hook appears, then Jin Sasaki is going to disappear. Okay, you think you can do that for me? Okay, cool. I mean, the way he brought that hook out the pocket, it was over. It's a wrap. It was a wrap. Medical attention, ASAP. But hey, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. It's Wednesday. Hopefully everybody enjoying their hump day and everything. I will be talking about the men's fight card coming up. But this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. This what I had to the last. Chris Eubank Jr., yo. Okay, this is what I wanted to let y'all know. Okay, are y'all paying attention? Check this out. Chris Eubank Jr., right? He had to pay a hefty fine for Palm. I'm talking about. You're talking about a fried, over easy, all in the same sentence. He slapped that freaking egg on Conor Ben's right jawline, right? They gave him a hefty fine for that. They gave him a hefty fine. But then he turns around and there's video out here of him using a sauna, which, they have these rules and restrictions. No IVs, no sauna, no this, no that. It seems like if it's a measure for a fighter to lose weight, and I can understand why they don't. You know why? Because a sauna allows a fighter to deplete water more rapidly than they would if they just out there working out naturally, right? So the British Boxing Board of Control has fined Chris Eubanks Jr. €10,000 for using a sauna to assist with making weight. This man has came off the ducats. This man fined again, yo. It says Eubank Jr., 35, would need to pay the fine before he's given the green light for his second clash against Conor, 23 and 114 knockouts in 2 months from now on September 20th. Given the $12 million purse that Eubank Jr. reportedly made for his first fight with Ben, 28, and a similar amount for his take in the second class, the €10,000 is just a drop in the bucket. Oh, look, this is a guy with no title, y'all. Paid a whopping $12 million. $12 million. And you think Eubanks ain't winning? $12 million. And he's about to get somewhat of the same? Man, you're talking about under, over, left or right of the radar. Man, I know it sucks for him to come out. I think his fine was like 160 some thousand or something. And then €10,000. I don't know the exact amount. Let me see if they have it in this article. I don't know don't quote me on that. I don't know the full amount. But you know what I can do? I can place an inquiry in right quick. Because we do have what is considered to be social media, online technology. Requests can be submitted in search engines. So, Chris Eubank has said $130,000 for slapping Conor Ben with an egg. and I believe that Eubank said it was worth every penny. Could you imagine you and I? Fine. You see, they couldn't go in our purse like that. They couldn't. But, our purse may not even come up to that 130,000. They couldn't find us 130. So I'm going to leave that alone. But he was fined €100,000, about $130,000 for slapping Conor Ben with the egg. I just wanted to put that out there. Chris Eubanks has been coming out the pocket lately. But big shout out to everyone who pulled up. Our money in the building. I see you. What's good, man? Salute and shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. We'll do it again another place, another time. I'm out.